Hello, welcome to the channel. If you don't know me, my name is Leticia Bishop. I am a professional makeup artist of over about 8 years now with a huge passion in skincare and sunscreen. I love teaching and talking about and encouraging people to wear sunscreen. So this video I'm going to be sharing about how much skincare you need to use for each individual product and step. But before we do that, I want to first just go over what order we should be putting our skincare on our face, because there is a few rules with that, and it makes the world of difference to using our products correctly and having the best skin that we possibly can, because there is no perfection, but we will try our very best, right? So the hard and fast rule that everyone says and everyone goes by is thinnest to thickest in terms of consistency and the texture of the product that you're using. So if you stick with that rule in mind when you are applying your skincare products in the morning or evening, you should get it right in that sense. So first, obviously, cleansing. So I always vouch and recommend a double cleanse. First, we want to remove our sunscreen, our makeup if you're wearing, and any dirt and grime from the day, from the city, all of that. So you double cleanse. First is generally like a stronger cleansing product, like an oil or a balm product. Those are about the two. And then that will remove the makeup and clean all the stuff that's sitting on top of your skin. And then the second cleanse is to clean your skin and get it ready for skincare products, and that is normally with like a gel cleanser or a milk or something lighter. You can just use the same cleanser and do it 2 times. That is also efficient if you're on a budget. But yeah, so cleanser. Then once you've done your cleansing, then you start from like thinnest to thickest mindset. Okay, so you want to be using at this step, the first step, you could use something like an essence or a toner or something with a real liquid consistency that you need to kind of put in the palm of your hand or on a pad and swipe across your face. A mist in this area, so your really thin products. And then you could go into like your serums, because they're a little bit thicker and a bit more jelly-like than an essence or toner. So you go to serums, then your eye cream, and then your cream, like your facial moisturizer. At the end there, it gets a little bit, people have different opinions whether you do, if you have an oil in your routine, which most 9 times out of 10 I don't use an oil. People say because that is the most like thickest and occlusive product. And if you don't know what like occlusives, emollients and humectants are, they're like 3 different types of skin ingredients and products, and they kind of, every product kind of goes into one of those categories. I have an article on my blog that I can link down below for you to read that. But oils are probably meant to be the last step, so if you're doing moisturizer and then an oil. But a lot of people, including myself, do not like the way oils feel on the skin when you go to bed because it's oily. So if I was to use an oil, yeah, I would probably just skip moisturize and use an oil. Or I don't think it's that bad if you use a light layer of oil and then do a moisturizer on top. Your eye cream, that could also potentially go before a serum if your eye cream was a really gel, watery like eye cream. Just depends on what type. If it's a really heavy cream, you would do your serums first and then your eye creams after. Moisturizer, I don't recommend an oil, a too heavy oil in the morning, because that could really interfere with makeup products. And the next product is sunscreen. So after your skincare, you have your sunscreen. So I like to like sandwich it, so you have the skincare, sunscreen and makeup. 3 separate kind of categories and areas. So you let your skincare settle in and set for a few minutes, and then your sunscreen is the last step of your skincare routine and always your first step before makeup. So that's a little bit about the order of like how you should apply them. And now let's get into how much product of each category that you should be using. Okay, so how much of each skincare product should you be using? I have already filmed some cutaways that I will insert somehow here in the video to show you physically me dispersing the amount of product on my hands and using the product on my face. Also, most people I think overuse skincare products except for one category of skincare product. Comment down below if you already know what which one that is that people don't use enough of. My introduction, what I said I was passionate about, was a big giveaway for what that is. So cleansers. The first cleanse is the balm or oil cleanser, and so here you do want to grab the one that I use is in a pot, and I use kind of the back of my nail and I scoop into the pot with the back of my nail and get a pretty big solid scoop out there, and then kind of warm that up in between my fingers, and it kind of turns into an oil, and then I massage that over my face and it breaks down all of my makeup and sunscreen and dirt from the day. Also, if you do this with a oil cleanser that comes in a pump bottle, and you just kind of probably one full squirt from that product will be enough. Next is your gel cleanser or your second cleanse product. It's kind of hard to see here, but this is just a little, it's just like one squirt. It's nothing more, nothing less. You just want enough to really lather up on the face, massage in for like about 30 seconds and be able to wash it off. So chemical exfoliators, I did kind of skip this in my layering. Chemical exfoliators you would do directly after cleansing when your skin is completely bare. So this is like an acid toner, an exfoliating pad, something like that, already a pre-soaked exfoliating pad. They come in a tub sometimes. If it comes in a liquid bottle, a lot of the times the packaging says clearly on it to put it on a cotton pad. So you just need like a few little shakes on a cotton pad. It doesn't need to be completely soaked, and swipe it over your face, and you can flip it over and do the other side as well, or maybe use the other side on your décolleté, things like that. Also, you can forgo the cotton pad and you could just put a bit on the palm of your hands, splash it together and pat it over your face. If you don't want to waste as much product, there's no reason why you can't do it that way. So essences, ampules, emulsions and toners, they're all relatively the same thing. Any very liquid type of product, this will go next. And again, just on the palm of your hand, a few shakes is more than enough. And if you get too much, pop it down onto your neck and your chest. And this is just basically to prepare the skin, soften the skin and get it ready for your serums. They also are very potent ingredients in them as well, often very hydrating, and they're a really good addition to any skincare routine if you just want to step up that level of hydration. Really good for in the winter time. So serums, I think that these are often really overused. You don't need a whole dropper full of the product if it comes in a dropper. I think that's a little bit too much sometimes. So just like a few, like maybe 2 to 3 little drops that come out should be enough, especially if you've already just used an essence in your routine, so your skin is already very hydrated, it's not bone dry. That will help it spread out better on your skin. If you have troubles, if you feel like you're using so much because it's not spreading out evenly, using like a hydrating essence beforehand will really help it spread out better, or doing it straight after the shower and not letting your face dry down completely. So a few drops of your serums, massage it everywhere. Generally, if it doesn't have any harsh ingredients, it's fine to go around your eyes. I always do that. And then down onto my neck. Everything down the neck to the tits as much as possible. If you have any left over, that's what the amazing skincare queen Caroline Hirons always says, is take it to the tits, which is true because this area ages as well, like our face and our hands, the tops of our hands and our décolleté always show our age a little bit faster than our face, because we're always very good at protecting our face from the sun and wearing sunscreen there, but these areas often get a little bit missed. Eye cream next, and I think people often really overuse eye cream. You know, it's just a really small area. I like to put it right up to my lash line. Some people, I feel like they just put it on the tops of their cheeks and not quite up to the underneath part of their eyes, where we need the brightening and the depuffing and the protection against fine lines. So just a little tiny dab, and then split the dab between 2 fingers and then pop it around under your eyes. I often put it over my eyelids as well. Another issue if you use too much eye cream is that people often sometimes get milia under their eyes, which is kind of little pockets of fat or something that's gotten into one of the pores, and it turns into like a little hard bump under the skin. It's not a pimple, you can't really squeeze it to get out. They're very difficult to get out. Generally need to go to an esthetician or somebody, a facialist, to remove them for you, and that happens from overusing too much heavy eye creams under the eyes, if your skin doesn't need all that extra like fatty you know, ingredients under there. And then we have moisturizer, the last kind of sealing in step of our skincare routine. I tend to go a lot more moisturizer at nighttime than I do in the morning, because I don't want it to interfere and pill with any sunscreen I use or any foundation or makeup. I keep it quite a light layer in the morning. Good scoop, big size, maybe like the size of the first part of your finger. That will be enough. Any excess you can go down the neck and onto the chest. Now for the sunscreen section. This is the one that people never use enough product of. You need about 2 ml per 1 square centimeter of skin, so that equals to around about half a teaspoon of sunscreen for your face and your neck area. You know, it varies depending on the size, the surface area of your face, if you have a larger face or a smaller face. But generally, if it's one that you can squeeze out, you know, the 2 finger, maybe 3 fingers line of product is a good amount. You could, when you buy new sunscreen, you could measure it out on the teaspoon or in the measuring, in the baking, from your baking drawer, to see like how much of that product you kind of need to squirt out to get the half a teaspoon amount. More is more when it comes to sunscreen. And really make sure you're taking the time. They have done research that the more time people spend rubbing in and putting on their sunscreen, the better application they get, and they don't have any skip areas. It's also a good idea maybe if you want to do it in 2 layers, like one light layer and then do another layer. That way you're really not skipping any areas and all areas of the skin is protected. Sunscreen works, you know, the rating on the bottle where it says, you know, 50 SPF plus, that is done using quite a lot of sunscreen. So if you are not using enough of it, you're not getting that protection at all. That's why it's important to try to reapply every 2 hours to, you know, further protect those areas where you might have skipped 2 hours before. No one is ever reapplying exactly every 2 hours. It's really hard to do. I try my best to with like stick sunscreens or mists. Definitely I'm a bit more better at that in the summertime than the winter, but you still need sunscreen every day. We wear sunscreen on days ending with Y, so every day. This is the #1 thing to prevent us against aging and, you know, keeping the quality of our skin the best as possible. So I hope the demonstrations were helpful for you to understand and get a little bit of a visual reference, an idea about how much product you should use. Maybe you're not using enough, or maybe you've been using a little bit too much product. If you have any questions, please leave them down below. I'm very happy to chat and discuss more there. Please consider subscribing to my channel. It's a very new, small channel, but I have more videos planned and love to hear your ideas of what you would like me to talk about, share about, teach, whatever. Please come say hi over on Instagram at Leticia Bishop, and I will see you in the next one. Bye for now. Talk soon.